So people know if they've been following my channel for a while that my channel consistently focuses on a lot of Japanese stuff, mainly from animes, games, mangas, but I've never really talked too much about the American side of things. Like, apart from a few things like The Walking Dead and the Game of Thrones and a few things like that, people probably have been asking me, well, why have they never gotten into any other kind of stuff? Why have they never gotten into comics? Why have they never tested out anything else from there? Well, actually, I may have mentioned it once or twice before, but I actually have checked out a few other things on the side, and I'm going to be talking about some of the, a little bit of the adventures and a little bit of the, sort of what I've been reading, actually, from the American side of it, from reading a lot of the comics. So one thing I think a lot of people know, I was actually reading the new Batman run that's out, the new 52, like a quarter of an hour. Personally, I've got this volume and I've got another one of the issues, and personally, I really like this new Batman run. I mean, I think I don't really need to explain who the hell Batman is. He is the motherfucking Batman, Bruce Wayne, parents' kid, cool-ass detective with tons of money. Like, everyone knows this, and this really went on like an established, like, I really like this because you already know, like, everyone knows he's like one of the oldest, like superheroes, like, of all time, like, next to, like, Superman. Like, he is one of the olds, and it's like, people know who, like, Batman is, and I like it that it just doesn't dick around saying, like, oh, let's tell Superman's origins again. Like, anyone really gives a fuck at this point. And honestly, I like it because it's more grounded to reality, and I really do like this, and it's like really enjoyable. And it does have supernatural elements to it, and I've got to say that the Court of Owls is a very interesting read, and I would highly recommend it to a lot of people. It's just an enjoyable run. The art is fantastic, and yeah, honestly, I would say you should really check out this. And I've been hearing that I believe like the current like artist of the run and also as well creator, he just finished off his work. I believe it was called like Batman Endgame, and I've heard nothing but great things from that from like friends of mine, and they're saying like I need to get more on my Batman run. Maybe I might talk about Batman more in the future, but yeah, I would highly recommend, guys, if you haven't, I would highly suggest you pick up the new Batman run, like the issues like that. I think they're very fantastic. Personally, I collect them as like paperbacks and all that. I don't collect them like every month or so, like some people do. I'm just going to collect them when they're like a bunch of issues like this, and honestly, we'll continue on from there. Another one that I've actually been reading and I actually only just recently finished off recently, which was the first paperback issue of it, and it was me actually finishing off the first like actual kind of paperback issue of Constantine. Now, people already think like, who the fuck is Constantine? Now, this is one new that I actually got interested in because there was the actual show that had only one season. Sadly, it got cancelled. That was a live action show, and people don't know he is like a detective as well, like Batman, but also he focuses on the supernatural side of elements. Like, he's actually from like English as well. He's British, and this guy say, honestly, I really like John Constantine a lot. I enjoyed it. I had some issues probably with this first one, like because I really did like the show a little bit more. I have heard that the Hellblazer issues though are amazing, the previous run, and this is the new one. I've heard okay things from it, but like apparently like the last like run of it was gone. I don't know if I'd recommend it yet. I might want to read another issue or two of it, but maybe I might just start on like the actual Hellblazer stuff because I think it's quite a few and it's already finished, and I'm like more curious about that. But he also as well is the leader of the Justice League Dark, which is actually like the same thing like a Justice League, and it actually focuses more on the supernatural events, and I thought that's really cool. So I might actually check out like Justice League Dark as well. And honestly, it's a real fun read as well. And I think that's one thing I like about this is that I really like the art, especially from like DC's line of stuff. It's really fantastic, actually. It's really good. It's really enjoyable, and like that's just one thing like people cannot deny. As much as like we try and be like sort of like people think that we're we really like Japanese cartoons. Like, no, I really do like the art. I really like a lot of the stories. I absolutely love the original Batman the animated series. That is still one of my favorite cartoons of fucking all time, just because of how fucking incredible it is. But it's just like one thing that's definitely hard, I feel, for a lot of people trying to get into comics is like, where do you exactly start? Like, there's just so much because these characters are like a lot different. When it's with like manga, it's just like it's done by one person most of the time, one or two people, and you know they pretty much control the story and it has a start and an end to it. With like comics, it's just like since they're owned by a company, they control the characters and they control what they do. So it's like, no, we have to keep them alive, we have to keep them alive. Like, what if like people thought, oh, like Superman's never coming back or something like that? People would rave about that, but it's like, I don't care about like Superman mainly because he's like just an overpowered god most of the time, and I don't think like a series about someone who's being overpowered. I know there's some really good material out there for Superman. Like there's the All Star Superman. I think is like the really good run of like Superman. So I know that, but it's just like, especially when you got like 700 like issues of stuff and like that, and it can just go on for a very long time, and then tons of crossovers and stuff. It's a very hard thing, and I think like that's probably why a lot of people I've seen like really don't want to get much into like newer comics these days, and I find that hard to actually get into things. One thing that I've been really getting into though, and this is one, is Walking Dead. I've said my things about Walking Dead in the past. Like I generally don't like a lot of the show. Like half of the show I think is utter garbage, and I'm talking about the majority is season 3 and season 4. Like season 4 mid-season finale, you don't fuck with that. You do not fuck with that at all, and like especially as well like the ending parts of like season 4, and then also as well like season 5 is probably the best Walking Dead season that we've ever had, period. But the actual comics are way more interesting than the actual show itself. Like there's a lot of details to it. The art, it's all in black and white. That's one thing. You always get that like a color issue. And I gotta say, I care for these characters a lot more. Like, I care for Rick and his family way more. And that's one thing, because I especially hate Laurie and Carl on the show. Maybe it's just because it's like who they're portrayed by, but it's like they're a lot more nagging, a lot of stuff like that. And it's like, I genuinely care for these characters. And not to mention as well, the bit that I'm currently at to is the governor stuff, which should be covering around like season 3 material. And I'm surprised that they're already gone through so much stuff in the show. I don't know if they've like been missing out a bunch of stuff, because it's a lot different. If people have ever seen it, they know what I'm talking about. The governor torture scene with Michonne, when what Michonne does to the governor, it's horrific. It's like Tokyo Ghoul sort of torture, but the fact is that you actually get to see the torture, and it's very violent, it's very graphic, really enjoyable, really like the characters. It's very fucked up world, really not meant for people like the young age Walking Dead. It's like very graphic, very like horrendously, like, I mean, that's one thing I like about it, is like gory, and it's like it has a lot of the political element to it as well, which I do like. I feel though with the issues, maybe with sometimes it can get a little bit preachy, it can get a little bit naggy sometimes with some characters, and then sometimes they focus on characters that I don't even really care about like that, or just sometimes they like over dramatize like some characters that literally just get killed off in the next issue or so. So it has some issues obviously, but probably out of everything I've been reading, Walking Dead's probably been my favorite so far that I've been reading, and I kind of actually want to catch up to the series. I need to collect more of the issues though, or like the massive big books I've been collecting. Overall, it's a really good and enjoyable read, and I would highly recommend that. Yeah, people, if you really don't like the show, it would really push you more onto the comics though, if that's more your thing. I mean, that's the thing, like both have like goods and bads to them, but overall I'd say like Rick and like pretty much nearly everyone in the gang in the Walking Dead comics are way a lot better than how they are portrayed in the TV show. Maybe that's just because of the writers, maybe that's just like what they're doing with the material. I don't know, but that's it. And I've also been checking out a few things on the Marvel side as well. Like, this is only a few random ones. For some random reason, I checked out like one issue of like the new Iron Man. Iron Man's a dick now. I was like, what the fuck? Like, I was really confused. Like, Marvel side, I have nowhere to start. Like, I have no idea where to start with like any of the Marvel stuff. So yeah, guys, if you give me some recommendations, because I really want to check out Guardians of the Galaxy, since that movie was fucking fantastic. That's the one I've been the most interested in and checking out. So if people can recommend me a good place to start off with Guardians of the Galaxy, I'd really recommend that. And not to mention as well, I checked out Howard the Duck, which is like, it's really weird. It's like some sort of like weird like fucking duck thing, and he's like sort of like a PR like a private investigator sort of like thing from what I saw, and it's just like you gotta find sort of cases and shit. That's what I honestly saw. I only saw like a few bits of it, but I was like, is that really what this duck is? Like, it's really weird. Like, he's just like there, and he's just like just the normal guy, and he's just like, fuck all this shit. He just got, I like it like that. It's just random stuff. Another thing I got to say is, like, I didn't actually see the comics, but this is one I'm definitely going to check out, and that is Daredevil. I saw the TV series, and Daredevil is fucking fantastic, guys. Probably one, and I mean one of the best shows that you can get out right now, and I'd highly recommend that. If you've got majorly watch that. It's like this series as well, House of Cards. It comes out like once a year and they just drop you all the episodes, which, to be fair, I like that a lot more than waiting once a week like I do with Game of Thrones, because with stuff that's like really good material like Game of Thrones, I don't want to be waiting every week. I want to watch it all at now. But it's like, especially with like stuff like this with House of Cards and stuff like that, yeah, when you got a good material, you want to have it all then and now, which is being extremely greedy, I know, but I can't help myself. And I guess lastly, the one thing that I checked out, which is probably the most weirdest and retarded thing, I started reading Sonic Boom. And like I got curious and I started reading some of the Sonic runs, like, because I know there's the Archie run, which I heard is like really good, but I don't know where to start off with the Archie stuff. And I just read, like, I caught up to Sonic Boom, which was like 5 issues, and I don't know why, but it's like really, I guess it's like, it's kind of meant more for kids. It's kind of funny, but I like, it's weird though, because it's like, it's meant, I'm going for a younger audience, but then at the same time they do things like adults, like trying to break the fourth wall, trying to be funny and quirky, and like, hey, didn't we do this issue? So I don't know who it's really tailoring for, but it has some funny moments to it. I like the art. It's very wacky, very like sort of zingy, kind of like, it's enjoyable. But it's one of those things where it's like, yeah, like, that's one of those, like, if you had a subscription to, like, the whole Archie Sonic stuff with the Mega Man stuff is there, you would be like, you wouldn't pay just for, like, the Sonic stuff. You just, like, pay for the subscription. It's like, oh, I got that as well. That's cool. You know, check it out. It's not something I would push people to, like, recommend, like, read, but it's there. It's there to enjoy. And that's really my little adventures that I've been having with comics lately. I mean, and a few TV shows as well, which I know I went on about. I thought this would be something different for you guys, because a lot of people have been saying, you know, check out this, check out, like, sort of that like, show. I mean, I do check out things other than, you know, like, sort of like animes and mangas all the time. I do check out a lot of TV series. I've also actually checked out, like, ages ago, like, there was, like, a sort of weird, like, sort of Romance of the Three Kingdoms that I checked with a friend, like about a year ago. Like, it was a fantastic show, and I really want to get back to it. It was actually a Chinese live action show that was going off the Romance of the Three Kingdoms, and I believe it was just called Three Kingdoms, and it was fucking fantastic, and I really want to continue back with it. So yeah, that's really what else you got to do. So it's like, if any of you guys are out there that you're avid comic readers, give me some recommendations. I'm curious. Like, I want to see that, because really the only things I own at the moment are just, you know, Batman and like a few stuff like Walking Dead. So it's like, I'm really curious. Give me some recommendations, guys, of like, what should I be reading here, because I want to give it more of a shot. I'm definitely going to be collecting more of the Batman stuff, and I don't know if I'm going to be collecting more of the 52 Constantine. Maybe I might just go to Hellblazer. I'm not entirely sure. Let me know, guys, because I'm super curious. But that's all from me. So thank you very much for watching as always, and I'll see you guys next time.